we're moving ahead in our units on parabolas and talking about something called the discriminants. Okay, and if you read the objective heading, it says the objective, I can use the discriminant to gain information about a parabola's x-intercept. So we just spent CO55 and CO56 talking about the x-intercepts of a parabola. CO55 we solved for the x-intercepts. Do you have something on columns, Briggs? Very good. Okay. And so 58 now, we're using what's called the discriminant to gain information. We're not solving for the x-intercepts here. We're gaining information about the x-intercepts and ultimately about the parabola. So the discriminant is this. It's a formula. So put it on a help sheet. The discriminant is b squared minus 4 times a times c. B squared minus 4 times a times c. Now that's a lot of variables. Okay? Think back to what we've done previously. Where do B, A, and C come from? We're talking about quadratic equations, they're parabolas. Where do B, A, and C come from? Leah? Yeah, it comes from the standard form of a parabola, ax squared plus bx plus c. The same type of equation we dealt with in CO55. Okay? Your a value is a coefficient to x squared, your b value is a coefficient to x, and your c value is the constant. The 4, that's always there. Okay? So b squared minus 4ac. And when you take the values of a, b, and c and you plug them into the discriminant, we gain information. If the discriminant ends up being a positive value, whether it's positive 1, positive 100, positive 1,000, 50, doesn't matter. If it's positive, it means the parabola has 2 x-intercepts. Okay? A positive discriminant means the parabola has 2 x-intercepts. It doesn't tell us what they are, just that it has 2 of them. Okay? If the discriminant equals 0, if b squared minus 4ac equals 0, it means the parabola has 1 x-intercept. That looks like an L. I should put a larger space there. It means the parabola has 1 x-intercept. Doesn't tell us what it is, just it has 1. And again, what does a parabola look like that only has 1 x-intercept? How can a parabola, if it comes down and goes back up, or goes up and comes back down, how can it only have 1 x-intercept? Poldinsky. Were you stretching?
I don't think. Sure.
Andrea.
No, is it like the point on the x-axis?
Right, the vertex is on the x-axis. It's somewhere in your binder previously. We have a picture of this, but it would be like this. Comes up, the vertex is on the x-axis, and it goes back down again. 1 x-intercept, right? If the discriminant is negative, again, it doesn't matter what that negative number is. If the discriminant is negative, you can probably guess
0 x-intercepts.
no x-intercepts. The parabola has no x-intercepts. Okay? And those are the only options. It can cross the x-axis twice, it can cross the x-axis once, or it doesn't cross it at all. And the discriminant helps us gain information about which one it is. Again, does not tell us what the x-intercepts are, just how many it has. So now you are armed with so much information, so many tools to tell me a lot of different things about a parabola just by looking at the equation. Let's do the first one together. 3x squared minus 6x plus 7. This goes back to CO54 as well. What direction will the parabola open? Up. What tells you that? The a term, right? The direction, you look at the ax squared term. Because that is positive 3, we know it's going to open up. We can tell that just by looking at the equation. What's the vertex?
Negative b over 2a.
Okay, so this is a fun one, right? The x value of that vertex, negative b over 2a.
Well, since the
In this case, what's that going to be?
negative 1
6 over 2.
Positive 6
over 2.
over 2 times 3. I heard someone say negative 1, but remember the b value is negative. It's a negative 6. And in the formula, a negative b, a negative 6 is a positive 6. Okay, Nick?
How do we know it's going up?
We know it's going up because the a term is positive. Okay, that 3 is positive. Now this 6 over 2 times 3, that equals 1. So the x value of the vertex is 1. How do we get the y value?
Plug it in.
We plug it in. And I'll do the work down here a little bit. 6 times 1 squared, or sorry, 3 times 1 squared. Remember, in your calculator, put that 1 in parentheses. Whenever you square something, just a good habit, put it in parentheses. 3 times 1 squared minus 6 times 1 plus 7. What do we get? 4. So the vertex is 1, 4. That one requires a little bit of work. Okay, but again, we can do it without actually graphing it. This is information we can get from the equation. What's the y-intercept?
0, 7.
0, 7. How do we know that? Where does that come from?
Well, if it's the y-intercept, x is 0, and then you have your c term, which is that y.
Brilliant! It is the c term. It is that 0, 7. And the reason why it is because, as Caitlin adequately explained, when you have a y-intercept, the x value is 0. And if we plug in 0 for x, these first 2 terms just go away because you're multiplying by 0. And you're left with just 7. Okay? So 0, 7. This is all review. You turned to CO54, you did this exact same thing. The new part now, so I'll do it in red because it's important. The new part now is the number of x-intercepts. Okay? And that number of x-intercepts comes from using the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So we write that formula down, b squared minus 4 times a times c. What's our b value?
Negative 6.
-6. And this is where putting that in parentheses when you square it becomes super important. Because if you don't put parentheses and you square a negative number, it's going to be a negative answer. So it's going to square first and then tack that sign on afterward. You want to square -6. -6 times -6. So put it in parentheses. And then we're subtracting 4 times our a term, which is 3, times our c term, which is 7.
That's a lot.
Okay? Now remember, it doesn't really matter what number this equals. We only care about, is it positive? Is it 0? Or is it negative? Now what's the actual answer to this? Just so you make sure you're doing it correctly in your calculator here.
Negative 48.
-48. Okay? -48. You get 36 from here, and then minus, this equals 84. 36 minus 84 equals a -48. But all we care about is the negative sign, right? That's what tells us the information. How many x-intercepts does this have? 0. Okay? Who did not get -48 as an answer to this and they put it into their calculator? Are we all good?
Wait. So it's B, so you go B, so it would be, that's how you, okay, yeah.
B squared, right? -6 is our value, is our B value there. Nick,
So if what you're saying is that number, so 48 is positive, there would be 48 x-intercepts?
no. If the number is positive, it means it has 2. Doesn't matter what the positive number is, it has 2. A parabola can't have more than 2 x-intercepts. The only options are 2, 1, 0. Okay? That's why we don't really care about what the number is. We care about what the sign of the number is. Right? Other questions?
We do the next one.
We can. And I'll scroll up a little bit so you have some more room to work here. But okay. All right, next one. Negative 2x squared plus 8x minus 4. Does this open up or does it open down? It opens down. We know that because our a term is negative, right? It's a negative a term. That negative 2, it opens down. Vertex, yay! Negative b over 2a. Do it over here. Gives us a negative 8 over 2 times negative 2,
Negative 8 over negative 4 should be 2.
which gives us negative 8 divided by negative 4, which is positive 2. Okay? Positive 2. So the x value is 2. Finding y. And again, so we'll go back to who did not get 2 by using their calculator? Because remember, this is the tricky one also. So many order of operations things here. If you in your calculator take negative 8 divided by 2 times negative 2, you're going to get the wrong answer. Right? Why do you get the wrong answer here? If that's what you put in your calculator, yeah? Yes. When you have a fraction, it's as if there are parentheses around the numerator and the denominator. This wants you to multiply first and then divide. If you write it like this, it's going to divide first to get negative 4, but then multiply to get you back to positive 8. Okay? So if you use your calculator for this, you need parentheses around the denominator. Or just do it mentally because we're only dividing by 2's here, so we can handle this. Right? Okay? But if you use your calculator, those order of operations, make sure that you tell it to do exactly what you want it to. Anyway, our x value is 2, so we go back to the original equation. Negative 2 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2 minus 4. What do we get?
Oh, 4.
I got 4. Anyone not getting 4? Bring your calculator to class. You're not going to want to take this test without one. Okay? And you don't want to be using a calculator for the first time doing this when you take your test. Right? So just like when you take your driver's test, make sure you take your driver's license test with the same car that you drove during your permit test. Right? You don't want to drive an automatic for the permit test and then all of a sudden get a manual on the driver's test. That would not go very well. Okay? So bring your calculator, the calculator you'll be using on the test, and practice this stuff with it now. Colin. Oh, well, wish of luck for me. Okay? So 2, 4 is the vertex. Again, anyone need to talk about how we get that? We're good. Okay. What's the y-intercept? 0, negative 4. We get that from the c value. Don't forget that negative sign is included. Okay? And then the number of x-intercepts. This is the new part. This is that discriminant. This is b squared minus 4ac. Our b value is positive 8. So 8 squared minus 4 times an a value of negative 2 times a c value of negative 4. Lots of negativity here. But sometimes it just works out that way. Okay? If you put it in your calculator exactly the way that you see it here, it will do exactly what you want it to, and you'll get the correct answer. What is 8 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 4? What's the actual value here? 32. Okay? Now, do we care that it's 32? No, we care that it is positive 32 because a positive discriminant tells us there are 2 x-intercepts. Okay? Andrea? Are you what? Sorry?
Like with 1.3333, and you just like put that line above the 3.
I don't
think you
You just keep typing
You
3,
put it in as a fraction, like.
Yeah,
Or-
if you ever have a repeating decimal or one that doesn't end, it's best to keep it in fraction form. As we progress through algebra, we'll be using decimals less and less, just because they're inaccurate, because you can't really work with them well in a calculator. So that's where fractions really have their advantage, in that they keep the value accurate. So yes, if you have a decimal, unless it's like 0.5, 0.25, something that ends, then use the fraction value. Okay. Cool.
How do we get 2?
Because this being positive, if you look up at our notes at the top,
Oh.
if the discriminant is positive, it means there are 2 x-intercepts. Again, doesn't tell us what they are, doesn't tell us where they are, but we know there are 2 of them
Because it's positive.
because the discriminant is positive. Okay? Go ahead and progress through the next 4. Fill out all the information that it asks you for. If you need help with this top 3, these top 3 come from CO54. You might want to review that. And the last one obviously comes from CO58 about the discriminant.
Is that our homework?
That is your homework. It is due Monday. Khan Academy is due tonight. I'm after school tonight. Read it again tomorrow. Okay? Read it again tomorrow. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, comments, congratulations, criticisms?
Don't forget to like.
Okay. Oh,
Don't forget to like.
I'll say also, hold up. If you're looking for extra credit, I rarely ever give extra credit outside of what's available on a test. If you're interested, if you are that Algebra 2-minded person that wants that extra, what did I do? Oh, okay. That wants that extra challenge, the second page of this, I want you to write a quadratic equation that satisfies the given requirements. If you're looking for a quadratic equation that has 1 x-intercept, what must be true? What must equal 0?
The
The discriminant. So you need the discriminant to equal 0. You need to write a quadratic equation such that if you plugged in your values for A, B, and C into the discriminant, it will equal 0. So you can't just put this. You need to write the quadratic equation that if I took the discriminant or if you take the discriminant, it will equal 0 because that's what tells you it'll have 1 x-intercept. Colin. You cannot use it from the other side.
How much extra credit is it?
1 point for each. No, how many are there? 6? Half point for each. So 3 extra credit points in total. Or if you're always sitting here thinking, when will I be challenged? This is way too easy.
Yeah,
I
this
wanna,
is way too.
Yeah, this is
This is totally easy.
higher level thinking.
I don't know what I'm
Right? So extra credit, it's up to you. If you look at Blackboard and your grade scares you, this could be of interest. But your homework is just the first page here. That's how you math.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.